Hello, welcome on the Watches TV, and today we're going to talk a bit more about the evolution of distribution with some good friends here. You know Thomas, you've already seen him a few times, but we have another one, Mr. Thierry Huron. So before jumping into the subject, Thierry, can you explain a little bit who you are?
Yes, okay, no problem. I'm Thierry Huron, I'm the founder of a company named the Mercury Project. What is the Mercury Project? So it's a business intelligence in company information, and we are just focusing on the distribution, on the watchmaking. And specifically, we are providing some analytic tools about what is the business, what is the real business of the watchmaking industry.
And you've been involved in the industry for many, many years,
I used to work many decades, I will say, in a big luxury goods company.
Okay. So a few days ago, Baselworld just announced that they were in their quest of providing more services to their exhibitors. They want to go a little bit further than that, and they associated with you because you have presented now something rather interesting about offering a solution for watch brands, for distributors, having an impact on retail also. Can you explain us a little bit what this is all about?
Sure. The idea, we can call it's better connecting or building bridges. And the question would be rather, why isn't it a tool existing yet? Every industry usually has its own directory that allows all the players to better communicate. Now in the watch industry, we didn't have such a tool, which is something I've been many years in sales that I would desperately have needed so that you can know exactly with whom you can connect in the market when you want to establish a brand, or when distributors would like to connect with brands, which brands do correspond to their portfolio. So we have developed this tool with Thierry Huron in order to help the industry better connect. I think this is really the wish of building bridges.
And would you say that this is more pertinent in today's world? I mean, really today, knowing that most of the big names of the industry, the big players are part of groups that are integrating part of their distribution. And so therefore there is an opportunity, a need, or a threat also.
Definitively. We could say that there are many leagues playing in the watch industry. So League A is a big brand, the big major brands, and these companies are more and more dedicated to focusing their retail distribution, and they open their own door. By the way, it seems that many retailers are losing these League A brands, and they are desperately looking for new companies, new brands. And it is topics of our program to connect all these people who are losing their brands with some companies who are also looking for new distributor or new way to penetrate the watch industry.
Let's say at a time where business becomes a bit more challenging, I think the limit should not be the lack of visibility in the market. What should make the difference are the products, are the way you are able to connect, to build relationship, the marketing you will do, but not the fact that you don't know with whom you should interact. So we are really filling a gap in the industry, a need in the industry that is, of course, pretty relevant today, where more and more people have to sit on the same table and talk. And for the moment, there's like a smog, nobody sees each other, and you just go randomly in the market trying to look who is fitting for your brand, and that can take months, whereas with the tool we have developed, it could take you literally a few minutes only to identify very precisely who could be your interlocutor. So you know on which door you have to knock that corresponds to your needs as a brand.
So far, how many distributors have you categorized or are part of this survey or this
So
tool?
we make a review of the complete list, let's say exhaustive list of these distributors. More or less, we have in our database more or less 1,600 companies. This company, and we cover 100 countries. So this means a company coming from Kickstarter, a new company that would like to expand its business through classical retail distribution, will have the possibility to crunch within the data and to focus on specific retailers or distributors that will fit with their requests and their needs.
The Kickstarter example is obviously a very good one because we see so many new projects out there and some of them being successful, but then to have that second push is kind of difficult. So there's really a need for these guys.
It's become more and more difficult. You have more or less on Kickstarter per year, you have more or less 500 projects. one and a half of this project, so 50%, is successful. But it's successful for the first year, maybe the second year. What do we do after? And for many of these returning companies, so they ask for a new life in a classical distribution life, and they are looking for distributors.
So, I'm sorry, so this means that the model of traditional distribution is still a valid one then?
The model of current distribution is still valid because it today still represents about 80% of the trade. So, there is a tendency to the direct-to-consumer.
And that's totally different from the other luxury goods.
Yeah.
If you look at to the perfume industry, if you look to the leather goods industry, so this business is already concentrated in some big retail companies. Totally different for the watch industry.
Totally different. There is a tendency, of course, to be shortening the path to the end consumer, but still the industry lives a lot out of this setup, which is a secular setup. And of course, this setup has still deserves still to exist, can still grow. And many companies, we have spoken about the Kickstarter companies, but there are many brands, middle-sized brand, independent brands that maybe want to explore new markets. Maybe there are always the top 10 markets where you need to be present, but the growth potential can be in smaller markets. Take Poland, 40 million inhabitants. Who are the players in Poland? I mean, it's a big market. It's like one of the big countries in Europe. There is a middle class that can purchase. So a middle price brand have a huge interest to go there, but who do you contact? Or take the big groups, still they pretty much master their distribution. They have a lot of subsidiaries, but maybe they want to do a competitive analysis to understand what's happening in the market. What are the competitors doing? Are they opening doors, closing doors? Are they starting new distributions? And all these things can be, of course, analyzed through the tool that we are providing today.
There are different steps within our tool. So first step, this is the access to the database. So depending on your positioning, you will focus on some specific distributor. But at the end, of the day, when you have discovered the correct distributor focusing with a good positioning on with your brand, fitting with your brands, so you need to contact them. And we propose another step. This means, let's say, helping people, supporting people to contact directly these distributors. And we have a network. We are working with a network of delegates, regional delegates, that will help and support all these guys looking for new distributor.
So we're talking a B2B solution. You have people providing and making watches, and then you have indeed those distributors. But if we go a little bit further down the route and the end point of sale, meaning the retailer, is that something that it will be also integrated into your tool?
Well, we needed to, of course, start it somewhere. Maybe first, as well, for the people that watch this interview, explain exactly the leg that we're covering. Because the business is segmented. It's a very old business that works pretty well since hundreds of years, that brands wants to sell in the whole world. Now, you cannot, from La Chaux-de-Fonds, or Geneva, or Bienne, be monitoring everything. You need to have local representative or country-wide representative that will bring your brand to the country. So these are the distributors. If you take distribution as the arm, is the first part that we cover. Of course, bring your brand to South Africa, to Chile, or to Russia. And these are the distributors, these are the intermediaries, the wholesalers. And then within the countries, they will resell, and in that case it will be the finger, they will resell to the local players, which are called the retailers. So we do first cover the first leg to be in clarity, and of course the second step will be to go down to the retailer level. It's a bit more than 1,600 players. So,
but coming back on the distributor level, I mean, obviously, generally, if you need a distributor, you're already kind of producing a rather significant amount of production. But let's say you're a young, fresh brand and positioned a little bit in the higher segment, and you're producing 50, 100 watches, something like that. Is it still purposeful to
Surprisingly, we discover in our database that there are some distributors dedicated to boutique brands. These kind of distributors, they distribute a couple or 3 or 4 boutique brands, but it's low, very, very low volume. indeed. But they're specialized on that.
So we do monitor, and I think it's very important because we don't just give the address. We go way further. There are about 20-25 criteria that will help you select very precisely who corresponds to your business. So we do have the name of the company, the countries, the city, and the address, but we provide information on what's the brand portfolio. And we segment the brand portfolio so you know that this distributor works in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different portfolio. Either they cover the whole range or they're specialized in boutique brands. Do they have their own retail, which is of course an indication that this distributor has its own retail network, so they do sell. So of course for the boutique brands and the high end, it could be very interesting. Do they have a service center? Are they selling online? Are they active on Facebook? Are they active on Instagram? How many followers they have? Are they active usually once per month?
Do they have their own retail network?
Yeah.
So this kind of information. And for sure, at the end of the day, when a company looking for a distributor make a review, he will have all information to take the correct companies.
But this information is provided to you by the distributor itself. And how do you assess it or verify it?
Well, we have started several months ago. It was it's not a coincidence that it doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, if it would be easy to do, someone would have done it already before. So it's a lot of data to compile.
It's a lot of data crunching. It's also a lot of communication. And so we are active on this industry for a long time. We have a lot of contacts. And for sure, they supported us.
So we have reached out in many countries to partners, friends, partners that became friends. We have local representatives as well, independent, that do help us as well, and will be, of course, within the region representing or collaborating with the Watch Distributors Directory. And of course, all this information came back to us. Then we have sent that information, and we are still in the process of sending that information to the players, to the distributors that will answer us. For them, it's free to be in the database, so they don't have access to the whole database, but of course they can have access to their information. So we do provide them. They correct, they say this is correct, this is incorrect, etc., etc., and they send it back to us. We have been pretty much welcomed by the distributors because they do understand that it's in the interest of themselves and all the industry to better connect.
Yeah, no, it creates a virtuous circle. Yeah.
Currently, this business, or the business of a watch distributor, watch and jewelry distributor, is difficult. Yes. It's challenging. So they are quite happy to discover that somewhere a dictionary is speaking about them.
So, I mean, based on your experience, based on the knowledge that you acquired through all this data crunching that you've been doing over the last few months, what is your kind of gut feeling on the future of the industry then?
I will say this business is quite challenging today, and for sure there is no tool able to connect all these people. So brands company of one side and distributor on the other one, and after that the retailers. So we have been very welcomed by this industry, and we have also been supported by some big players on the market. So Baselworld, it's a great supporter of our business, and for sure for them. So more or less we are on the same way and the same thinking with them. So they want to exploit a database of information, a platform of communication. We also provide a platform for communication. And it is a way to connect all these people.
I think today it's business as unusual, not as usual. The business has changed, many things have changed. We had the occasion to exchange on the digital distribution, the fact that a lot of opportunities to sell migrate online, and finding ways to solve that new equation. So definitely, as we can see, Baselworld as well has evolved to a platform which is not only active 6 days per year, but they want throughout the year to help the industry connect. So what we can start with, of course, is help everybody better connect. There will be changes, there will be concentration, some will come, some will go, and as usual, when you have a change of paradigm, it's a time of opportunities. But that said, helping people to better connect and better get introduced is definitely something that is needed. How the brands will be using this, it's up to them. But of course, we do provide a tool that will greatly help a lot of brands to identify who can be the players. And a lot of distributors in the market today are in need maybe to replacing some brands that they have lost. Yeah. And they are pretty much welcoming the fact that someone takes the initiative, because everybody's crying saying things are not doing fine. Okay, but what do we do about it? So we offer a real tool. And something very important as well is that not only you get the addresses, not only you can get after some support to know what to say when the people open the door, but we do as well partner with Europastar that did open their archives, 70 years of archives, which give you a deepness when you have to understand a country. You want to, let's take the example of Poland, you want to invest in Poland, you know, what is Poland? How do you go to that market? What's the mentality? What are the problematics in Poland? And this you have, I think, in 170 countries.
So this means additionally to the list of distributors we'll provide, so our subscriber, our client, will access to the archives, Europastar archives about Poland. So they will have a better understanding of what is currently the state of the market given by...
you know, you go in the Middle East where, you know, they have a very deep perspective of time. And if you know it's usually a family business, if you can read articles from the founders 50 years ago, and you are able to understand what happened 50 years ago, or the grandfather or the founder of the person you will be speaking with, that makes a difference.
Of course. Yeah, excellent. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to talk about this in 12 months, 24 months, see how things evolve and how brands and distributors adhere to the project. But Thierry, do you have a word of conclusion for this interview?
So, we found, I would say, the best partner for us. So the business is on the way. The database will be online at the end of February, more or less. And we already received a lot of requests regarding this database, thanks to the announcement made through Baselworld. And we look forward to seeing all these people at Baselworld. We will have a stand, so it will be a best way to connect directly with them and to apply our definition.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who gravitates around your booth there.
We are in an industry that somehow keep many things secret, and I think the word of the last decade is leak. We have seen that today things become transparent. And I think in the industry, we have to stop working divided, everyone on its own, thinking that as it's a zero-sum game, if you lose, I win. I think we can win together. And I think this is part of a big initiative to better help the industry on its altogether progress. Because it's not like 5-6 brands that will be successful that will serve the industry. I mean, it's all together that we can make a difference. And I think this is a way to bring all the industry together. It gives a life to thousands of people all around the world and millions of people that love those products. And I think it would be good that it lives on. So I invite all the players to welcome that initiative. It's not about Thierry and myself. It's about the industry to help better connect so that everybody can bring and feed information with this database, because ultimately we all need it.
There is no more sacred cow. Yeah.
No, and indeed, the notion of transparency is becoming more and more relevant for everybody, and any industries actually. Yeah.
Let's
so I mean,
to each other.
Indeed. Well, I mean, this is good on paper. I've been hoping and saying this since quite a while about indeed pulling everyone in the same direction. At the same time, we see so many things that are going in the other direction. Everybody pulling the cover to themselves. So we'll see who will win. But ultimately, I think indeed, I mean, we're stronger together. So thank you very much for dropping by. It was a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed this. Different take. Enjoy. Viva Watchmaking. See you soon.